Welcome back, everybody, on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Brent Martineau, Austen Lane, and we are at the wall that says it all. We tried this a week ago.
Yeah.
It worked well. It was well received. So we said, hey, let's do a little TV and radio mix once again. We jumped down to the TV studio here on CBS 47 and Fox 30. We are on the wall that says it all. And I remind everybody that if you're watching on the social media platforms, hopefully this is a special treat. We'll take you through some of the plays last week against Carolina, 2 defensive plays that the Jaguars kind of messed up on, and an offensive play that, well, is it Gardner Minshew's fault, or is it just a really good defensive play? We'll get into it. If you're listening on ESPN690.com or in your car or on the TuneIn app or anywhere else and just listening, hopefully you can follow along, and we'll try to make it make sense for your ears and not just everybody's eyes. We call it Just Three Downs, and like I always like to say, I'm surrounded by Austen Lanes everywhere on the wall that says it all.
I'm still intimidated, by the way.
All right, so let's get to it, man.
Yeah.
Let's talk about a couple of plays that went wrong for the Jags, and it's a scoreless game in the first quarter.
It is.
Just 5 minutes into the game.
Yeah.
This is the first possession
Correct.
of the game for Carolina. Remember, they marched right down the field on the Jaguars' defense, so not a good start because Carolina sets the tone early on against the defense that's supposed to be good for the Jaguars. Christian McCaffrey ends up scoring a touchdown, but you take it from here, set up the play, and tell us what went wrong.
So, Brent, as opposed to last week, we talked about Todd Wash's scheme a little bit. Was it the right scheme to be called? Did you guys have to do their jobs? In this series we're going to do here, it's all about the fundamentals. Put the X's and O's away, put the scheme away. We're talking basic fundamentals. And I know about fundamentals myself. My very first game I played in, Monday Night Football, 2010, Tennessee Titans. Guy by the name of Chris Johnson was at running back at the time. And I'm sure you remember that game, we were getting blown out. So I actually got some more extended playing time. One of my very first series I was in, I was what you do, a pirate technique. So basically, I was in a 6-eye on the tight end, and I had a step to the B gap. Pretty basic stuff. Everyone does that. So I step to the B gap, but I make a mistake and look in the backfield. And when I do that, I see, oh, Chris Johnson's going around me. I'm just going to casually go back to the C gap and it'll be okay. I'm going to make a play. Everyone's watching back home. I'm going to be a superstar. Nah. Chris Johnson was to the point where he saw me make that play, used his vision, went to my B gap, 8 out the gate. And as you can imagine, I went to the sidelines, and Joe Cullen was waiting for me with an earful. So
and Joe's still in your head, by the way.
Oh, he's still in my head, man. I can't get him out of my head. But this is what we're talking about with fundamentals. So now I'm going to break down fundamentals right here. This is the first touchdown of the drive. As we see, I mean, this isn't a crazy formation, anything like that. Jaguars in a base front right now. We're going to keep an eye on Josh Allen and Quincy Williams. 2 rookies, 2 first-year guys here, okay? So this is the basic formation right here. As we come over here, this is where I'm going to pick on Josh Allen a little bit. Now, Josh Allen, for the most part, has been playing some really great football. He had a sack in this game.
And if you're listening, by the way, the first screen is a screen grab of just the lineup, the formation, before the ball snapped. And now the ball has been snapped, and Christian McCaffrey has the ball running on the right side. This play started at the 5-yard line, and he scores from 5 yards out. Go ahead.
So Josh Allen is what he's in what you call a 5 technique. And basically, he's going to be the outside shade of the tackle. There's no tight end there, so he's got a pretty easy job. Now, as that 5 technique, what they're asking Josh Allen to do is you have the edge. You have the outside contain. Perfect. The only problem with Josh Allen here is when this ball is snapped, and Brent, I'm using you as a little example here.
Oh, we get to show and tell a little bit. Let's make sure the cameras are all ready for this.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay?
So when the ball is snapped, I always say, Brent, the tackle tells you where you want to go, correct? Okay. So when the ball is snapped, the tackle takes 1 step down right here. Okay, perfect. That's all he did. That's all the tackle did. Wasn't a pass set, wasn't a down block. He took 1 step inside. That's what we call a seal block. Now, how do you handle a seal block? If you go back and watch this film, you can see it right here. Josh Allen puts both hands right on the tackle like this.
On his right shoulder.
Hands on his right shoulder.
Okay.
Now, to the casual observer, to the average fan, pretty good job, right? Because, I mean, he's pushing him down. He has his edge responsibilities. But where he runs into a problem is a guy like Christian McCaffrey. The run wasn't designed to bounce outside. But since Josh Allen turned his shoulders and put both hands on that tackle, McCaffrey sees that, and he bounces offside. So now, he bounces outside. So now, when he bounces outside, it takes this much longer for Josh Allen to recover.
He has to recover.
He has to recover, as opposed to what you want to do in that situation when there's a seal block. All right, Brent, go back down again. Right here. I have 1 hand on you, and my shoulders are still to the line of scrimmage. That way, if McCaffrey bounces outside, I'm still in position to make the play.
You're squared up.
Exactly. So the main problem here with Josh Allen, listen, he almost made the tackle as well. It would have been a great tackle, but he makes things so much harder on himself when he turns his shoulders.
Yeah.
Now,
and the problem is McCaffrey's super quick,
yeah, exactly.
and Allen's a big guy.
And we're talking about fundamentals here. This is basic defensive end stuff. Guy by the name of Alvin Kamara coming to Jacksonville this Sunday will do the same exact thing. So you have to keep your fundamentals right here. Now, also Quincy Williams. Quincy Williams, you know, we talked about him a little bit last week. We're going to talk about him again this week. He did get benched this game, and this is one of the reasons why here.
Tough game for Quincy Williams.
It was a tough game for Quincy Williams. So as you can tell, and we can't really see the slide right here, but the way the offense is set up, Josh Allen pushes his guy. You know, it's the seal block, and there's chaos right now in the middle, you know, of the B gap and the C gap.
And McCaffrey's about to bounce this thing outside, and there's some green grass out there.
Yeah. So now here's the thing. If you want to stop the run, two ways. Either you get in the hole or you put the tackle in the hole. You could really say that Josh Allen puts the tackle in the hole on this play. So the B gap is covered up. The C gap is the one that's open. The outside run is open right now. Unfortunately, Quincy doesn't see this. There's not communication right now because Quincy is playing the B gap. If you look closely, no one's in the B gap. There's no way the B gap is going to get hit.
Yeah.
The C gap is open.
There's
the
no
outside
room to
is
run
open.
in the
There's
B
no
gap.
room to run. So once Quincy Williams sees that, once Quincy Williams sees Josh Allen push his guy into the gap and say, you know what, I'm all good here, Quincy Williams has to recognize that and then play outside. If he plays outside, he helps Josh Allen out and make the tackle, and it's not a touchdown.
All right, so that's interesting. So he plays the wrong gap after there's some wrong technique by Josh Allen.
Yeah.
So two rookies, just a quick little decision
Yeah.
and the wrong one.
Yeah.
Really cost them this play, which was still pretty much contested down at the goal line.
Of course.
This is the play that McCaffrey got flipped into the end zone
Yeah.
on, and the Jags almost made the play, but Quincy's in chase mode at
Exactly.
that time.
Correct.
All right, so I get it. So two mistakes by the young fellas.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
And the rookies, and they'll learn from it.
Yeah, exactly.
right?
I mean, these are basic fundamental things, but I mean, at the same time, it's the little things that matter the most, Brent.
And especially if you have a good running back,
Oh,
too.
of course.
Because that's the other part is I ask you this all the time. I'm like, hey, guys make mistakes.
Yeah.
But a lot of times you get away with the mistakes because maybe the quarterback or the running back or the receiver or whoever doesn't make the right choice and makes you pay for it.
Yeah.
Well, what we saw on Sunday against Carolina
Yeah.
was McCaffrey especially made the Jags pay when they made a mistake.
And exactly. And when you're a defense, you're getting ready to game plan for a running back. I mean, you can see his speed, his power, his moves and everything, but it's hard to gauge just what kind of vision he has, right? Because you only see the vision when you're on the field. So with that in mind, Christian McCaffrey, great vision. Alvin Kamara again coming to town, excellent vision
Real
as well.
life speed versus what you see on tape.
Exactly. No kidding.
All right, so here we go. We go play number 2.
Yeah.
And this is the play everybody saw.
Correct.
84-yard touchdown run.
Yeah.
And we talked about this earlier in the week already on the show on
Yes.
Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. And just a reminder here, we're at the wall that says it all. For all our folks watching on social media, on YouTube and Twitter and Facebook and Twitch, you're watching some of the frames from some of the big plays in the game when Carolina beat the Jaguars 34-27 Sunday. For our listeners on ESPN 690 in your car or ESPN690.com, we're trying to keep you at least in tune with your ears and describe this the best we can. But if you want a visual look, go check out some of our social media platforms as well. We'll hang with this for a couple more minutes. We got a Gardner Minshew play coming up in a moment. But first, let's go to the 84-yard run.
Yeah.
And it was 21-17 at the time, man. The Jags had the momentum. Second half, first play of the second half.
Yeah.
When you pinned them pretty deep,
Yep.
you're inside the 20. And McCaffrey gets loose.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things you can pinpoint on this play. First of all, let's go ahead and set the scene real quick. We have Carolina, they have Christian McCaffrey kind of like in that eye in the backfield, and they have Greg Olsen kind of like at the wide fullback position, basically. Basically, he's going to go in motion here. This is what Carolina likes to do a lot. This is what a lot of teams like to do a lot. And this is what I like to call with Greg Olsen right here.
This is what every team will do against the Jags now.
This is what we call a distraction. All right, this is all this is. This is cannon fodder. This is a distraction right here. So who is this distraction going to affect? Well, usually when you're talking about a tight end, it could affect the linebackers. It could affect the safeties. On this play, though, this distraction also affects Calais Campbell. Now, let's go ahead and come down here to the play a little bit and see what transpired.
So we went from the formation play.
Yes.
That's what we just set up here.
Yeah.
And again, the ball hasn't been snapped.
Yep.
This is the 84-yard run.
Yep.
And the Jags are in their normal defense. They're shaded a little to the right side because
Yep.
of Curtis Samuel's over there and the tight end is over there. Ronnie Harrison's helping out on the right side.
And also keep in mind, so Ronnie Harrison is coming down on the line. So he's coming to stand right next to Yannick Ngakoue. When there's two guys on the line like that, that tells me one thing, Brent. There's going to be some kind of movement because you're not going to have two guys in the same gap. Yannick Ngakoue is going to do a pirate step. That's kind of what I talked about with Chris Johnson, or Chris Johnson for me for a big one. So Yannick Ngakoue is going to do the pirate step because the safety is coming down right next to him.
Jags essentially have 7 guys in the box on this play.
Yes.
You wouldn't count. Jared Wilson's kind of hanging out a little bit. I don't know if does he count in the box there? Would you count that in the box?
In this right now, no, I wouldn't count him in the box.
So
no,
7 guys in the box for Jags.
7
Now
guys
we go
in
to
the
the
box.
snap of the football.
Yeah.
And the frame we have here is basically the seas parting.
Correct.
That's what it looks like. This is a big hole. Remember, on this play, Christian McCaffrey does not get touched.
Yes.
He didn't get touched.
Yes.
He might be the MVP of the league, and this might be, or they think they're a really good defense, and he does not get touched on an 84-yard run.
Correct.
Take it away.
Absolutely. So like I said in the prior slide, Greg Olsen, he is the distraction. The guy in the back that's going in motion is the distraction. And if you go on Twitter, if you watch this play happen live, a lot of people were complaining, like, why would Myles Jack foul the tight end?
Everybody thought it was Myles Jack's fault.
Correct. Now, don't get me wrong. Myles Jack is at fault here. Don't get me wrong. He definitely is in fault. But here's what Myles Jack was thinking. So, like we talked about in the show, Brent, number 10, I think that's Curtis Samuel, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So, Curtis Samuel, they like to do a lot of things with Curtis Samuel. They like to run the ball, get him the bubble screens. On this play right here, Curtis Samuel is faking like he's going to get an end around, basically. And what
behind Kyle Allen.
Yeah, exactly, behind Kyle Allen. And what Myles Jack read was the fact that his key on the tight end, Greg Olsen, took him to that spot. Because if you're the linebacker watching Greg Olsen, the tight end right now, going in motion, you follow him. And when Greg Olsen sets up wide, he thinks that the ball's going to go right here to Curtis Samuel outside. Okay. So Myles Jack actually has to follow that a little bit. But now here's what Josh Allen can do to make things a lot easier. We just broke it down over here, Brent, where we talked about, you can put one hand on the guy and you can frame up, keep your shoulders square. When you have Greg Olsen blocking you right now, and this is Josh Allen, let's keep in mind, it's Greg Olsen, right? He's what? Maybe 60 years old, it seems like sometimes. No, I'm just messing. But he's an older seasoned vet.
Yeah.
Greg Olsen's not going to come at you with power. Greg Olsen's savvy. Greg Olsen's going to try to reach block you.
Technique.
Or do something like that. Technique. What Josh Allen can do right here to help out Myles Jack is push Greg Olsen down. If you watch this play develop, Josh Allen actually takes Greg Olsen and he swims around. Okay? He swims around. Now, I can see what Josh Allen's trying to do. He's trying to swim around because he thinks maybe the running back's going to get the ball. That doesn't matter. You're lined up so wide right now, and that running back, a.k.a. Curtis Samuel, is so far in the backfield that even if you do just nudge him up a little bit instead of swimming around, you still have the opportunity to make that play. So Josh Allen can push the tight end down a little bit more, and this will free up Myles Jack. Because you see how wide they are here, Brent.
Yeah, right now, the play Austin's describing, again, if you're listening, I mean, at this part of the play, McCaffrey's got the ball about to hit the hole and actually has hit the hole.
Yeah.
And Myles Jack and Josh Allen are I would say, 7 yards away from him?
Yes, exactly.
So they've got, no chance at this point.
So now Josh Allen has the contain, which means he has the outside responsibility. Same thing on the first play. Myles Jack has to understand that even though he's following Greg Olsen, and even though he's worried about Curtis Samuel, you have to trust that your rookie, Josh Allen, can make that play on the outside. That's Josh Allen's gap on the outside. Okay. So then where does Myles Jack fit in? Myles Jack fits in right here. This green space between basically Calais Campbell and Josh Allen. So that's what we call the C gap right now. That's what it became. So he has the C gap. Unfortunately, he took his split out so wide, so long, that the C gap is a mile long.
Yeah.
And even if he was to try to make a play, which he did, doesn't have enough time to recover.
You can fit a Mack truck right now between
exactly.
that.
But now it's not just on these two though, Brent. This is a long developing play, and a lot of guys are at fault right here. On the show, we talked about Calais Campbell a little bit, right? So if we go back to the original slide right here, Calais Campbell is in a 3 technique. He's lined up on the guard. Basically, he has this B gap right here, right? So we'll see what happens. Calais Campbell sees Greg Olsen go in the backfield. Once again, come up on me, Brent. All right, so say you try to block me. I'm focused on your shoulder. I'm not looking in the backfield. Because as soon as I look in the backfield, that's where all the cannon fodder, that's where all the distractions are. Linebackers have to look in the backfield. If you're a defensive line, just focus on your guy. He'll take you to the play. Initially, Calais Campbell does a great job getting off the ball, putting his arms on his guy, and making a play. But he sees Greg Olsen cross-face him. He sees Greg Olsen go around him. And when Calais Campbell sees that, he hesitates.
Yeah.
He thinks the ball is going around him.
His eyes go up a little bit.
His eyes go up. And when he does that, he gets reached.
Yeah.
And when he gets reached, he misses his gap. And when he misses his gap, there's a hole to run in.
Man, we were talking about, too, if you listen, I mean, this is like a split second.
It absolutely is.
It's amazing, really, to appreciate what these guys have to do and how disciplined you have to be every play. This is a split second right here.
And listen, and they always tell you, be a football player, don't be a robot. So Calais is thinking right now, I'm trying to get one up on this guard. I'm trying to swim around him because I think the ball is going outside. Well, when he swims around him, he gets reached, and that's where the hole opens up for Christian McCaffrey. Now, it's not done just there. There's other guys at fault as well. Let's go to the backside real quick. So like I talked about, Yannick Ngakoue is doing a pirate technique, which means he's going from the 5 and going to the B gap. He's cross-facing the tackle, attacking the guard.
And two guys are taking on Yannick right now.
Exactly. And when he does that, that means Ronnie Harrison comes down the line, like we talked about, and he has the edge. This leaves this guy right here.
Quincy Williams.
Poor
Quincy Williams. I feel like we're picking on him lately.
Dude, listen, this is that Murray State guy. I got nothing but respect for him, but we have to address this, right?
He
is
is learning on the job, man. It is like.
But we have to address this play, right? So where's Quincy Williams right now?
He is like on the behind, if you will, of Yannick Ngakoue.
But my question to you is why?
I have no idea because all the motion and Samuel and Olsen, the tight end, took everything to the other side. So it's not like he's got any responsibility over there. I don't know what gap he's trying to fit at this moment. It really makes no sense because McCaffrey's about 4 yards away from him, about to go through a hole and go 80 yards untouched.
So here's the problem here. The way this is blocked up on the offensive line, Quincy Williams thinks the ball is going to bounce outside because he's reading the offensive line. So that's Quincy Williams' job. But unfortunately, he's not trusting Yannick Ngakoue. He's not trusting Ronnie Harrison. If he trusted him, he knew that the C gap and the B gap are good. Yannick Ngakoue is doing his job. Ronnie Harrison is doing his job. So what does Quincy Williams have to do? He has to fill in the backside right here. His job, exactly.
Don't be a hero.
Exactly.
And so the young players are making some mistakes. Hey, do you think, are these repeatable mistakes and then it becomes a problem? Or are they easy to learn from even as a young player? You're like, I'm not going to do that again.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to be honest. It's just a matter of getting your reps, and going through them in practice, obviously, and then when the game time comes, executing. Because, Brent, I was there too. Like I said, Chris Johnson burned me a couple times. I understand those plays alone.
So listen, it happens.
It happens, but like I said, it's not just on Quincy Williams. It's not just on Calais Campbell. It's not just on Miles Jack. It's not just on Josh Allen. It's on the collection of all of them. And if we work on our fundamentals here, this play doesn't happen.
Well, we said this, if you listen to the show earlier in the week, when you have 4 guys do something wrong on a play, and what was 84 yards untouched. All right, we got to be real quick. We got to get out of here. But I want to take you to an offensive play to end things.
Absolutely.
And this is the Gardner Minshew with 2:33 to go, down a touchdown. They had the ball. Remember, it wasn't just the Hail Marys at the end of the game. But they have the ball now at the 39-yard line on 2nd and 10 of Carolina. They're marching down the field. This could be the tying score. And all the plays Minshew has made, this is the one I think he'd like back. He's trying to make a Denver-like play. He's scooting around, avoiding the rush in the pocket, and he fumbles, and Brian Burns gets him. I don't want you to take us through everything, but real quickly, is this Minshew's fault, or is it a great play by Burns being able to poke that ball out?
You know what? This primarily it falls on Minshew, right? Because if you watch this play develop here, I think Cam Robinson does a great job in pushing Brian Burns off the center line, off the plane. I mean, basically, he's 3-4 yards in the back of Minshew.
He is.
Minshew feels that and steps up in the pocket. Now, I say a quarterback's got a honey hole. The honey hole is where a quarterback loves to step up, and it's where they like to go. Patrick Mahomes has a honey hole all around the field. Same thing with Aaron Rodgers. When Gardner Minshew steps up a little bit, you can tell he doesn't really feel comfortable making that pass where he's at.
Well, you know why? Because Linder's right in front of him, right?
Exactly.
I think that's Linder. No, that's Norwell. I'm sorry.
Norwell, exactly. So he doesn't
that
feel comfortable here.
325-pound guy, he's almost being swallowed up by his own guy a little bit.
Exactly. Now keep an eye on this too in the second slide. Who's this guy? I think it's Shaughnessy right here.
That's Jeff Swaim.
Jeff Swaim. Okay, thank you very much. This guy's wide open right here. And what this guy did was he helped out in the pass blocking, and then he releases. Jeff Swaim is wide open right now.
Minshew does not see him though. His eyes are downfield.
But what happens? So he feels the pressure. Minshew steps up, doesn't like it, puts 2 hands on the ball, and proceeds to go towards his right, where Swaim is. Now, I'm sorry, where Swaim is. Correct. Okay. Here's the issue, and this you can take it for what you want. Brent, give me probably the 2 best scramblers at throwing the ball in the NFL right now.
Well, you just said it, Mahomes and Rodgers, maybe.
Thank you very much. We're on the same page. I love it. Do you know what they do so well and why they're so successful? Aaron Rodgers, he ran like a 4.7, 4.8. He's not that fast. Mahomes, 4.7, 4.8. But when they exit the pocket, when they're on the run, they only have 1 hand on the football. Gardner Minshew, when he exits the pocket, he has 2 hands on the football. Now, what does that do?
I thought that was good, man.
Well, here's the thing. it keeps the ball protected.
But
right?
it slows you down?
But it slows you down because think about it. And this to anybody at home, anybody watching on TV, whatever you want to do.
Grab a loaf of bread.
Go take a loaf of bread and put it in one hand and sprint. See how fast you are. And then go take that same loaf of bread, put it in two hands above your face, and see how fast you are. It's going to slow you down a little bit. And if you watch this play here develop, if you watch Gardner Minshew scramble with two hands on the ball, and I get it, ball security comes first. But when he has two hands on the football, he kind of trips a little bit and stumbles. Doesn't get his full speed off. Brian Burns runs like a 4.5. He was a beast at the combine. Yeah. Chases him down easily, and it's a sack fumble. Jaguars turn the ball over there. So listen, I get it. You're a rookie trying to take care of the football. I understand it, and so be it. That's one of those things you just have to live with. But at the same time, as he progresses, I'm not saying maybe this year, but next year and the following years to come, if we assume Gardner Minshew is going to be special like he's supposed to be, when you scramble out of the pocket like that, one hand on the football, look up and see where you're throwing to.
Interesting, very interesting point, because I think most people will be like, no, keep two hands on the football. And I think that's what he's done a good job of in the Denver thing, where you applauded him for that.
No,
on some of those plays, because he was protecting the ball and getting out of there. And this is a good play by Burns, too.
Oh, it's a fantastic play.
And he's a good player. He was the rookie defensive player of the month, and obviously Minshew was the offensive rookie of the month.
But I'm just saying, if you're trying to reach that Aaron Rodgers, that Patrick Mahomes echelon, watch how they scramble, watch how they operate. One hand on the football when they scramble out of the pocket.
All right, man, that was fun. The Wall That Says It All. And again, we're on social media platforms if you want to check out the video. Hopefully it made some sense to you on the audio side on ESPN690.com and also on your radio as well. And we're going to go back up to the radio studio and, well, we'll talk more about the Jags, of course. Stay with us on ESPN 690.